Hello everyone, my name is Kimberly Drake, and for my final project, I chose to look into the best ways to communicate in the world of marketing. I also have included in my attachment a Prezi link for you to interact with. It's more of a visual representation of this presentation. So let's get into it. First, I chose to interview Don Stanley. He is the owner of 3 Rhino Media. It's a marketing and communication company here in Wisconsin. He's also a professor at UW-Madison. And below is a link to his website if you would like to get a little bit more information on what he does and some of the companies and people that he has worked with personally. I chose to work with Don Stanley and to interview him because he was a great role model for me when I was attending UW-Madison for my bachelor's. He taught me to be a lifelong learner, and this was something that I had admired. He's also a business owner and someone who works in the field of marketing, and I currently work in the marketing profession, as you may all know from the discussion board posts, so this was definitely a great avenue for me to explore further. Key takeaway from this final project was that social media was key. This is something that's heavily explored, whether it's in the professional side or the personal side, and these professional and personal sides are both intertwined and they're mixed. And also, I learned that the field of marketing is constantly evolving at breakneck speeds. It's critical to be a learner and to keep up with the changes in this field. And it's important to pay attention to these factors that are listed below because some companies can't utilize strategies or paid marketing, boosting posts, etc. to be able to generate more business, more leads for their company because they do have limited resources, and these are types of constraints that hold them back from being able to explore these options further. I do want to touch on one quick thing here, and that's I did not choose to look into LinkedIn, even though this was mentioned in my interview with Don Stanley. I chose not to look into LinkedIn because there's already a preconceived notion that this platform and site is very business professional and it's a networking site. While both of those areas are true, I wanted to express that the tone of LinkedIn is meant to contain professional content and for users to display a certain sense of etiquette. And I just wanted to steer away from this because of this preconceived notion. Looking at the next area, in my interview, I learned many of the platforms used today are still social media. It seems weird growing up in the beginning of stages of DSL and high-speed internet that social media is still relevant. But after hearing from Don Stanley, these platforms are definitely here to stay. The growing influence and involvement on each of these platforms speaks volumes. Many of these platforms have been around for a while. If you think about it, Facebook was founded in 2004, Twitter was founded back in 2006, and Slack is a newer platform that was founded in 2013. But all of these platforms have one thing in common. They allow users, professionals, and marketers to connect with one another. Don Stanley mentioned that many of these platforms are highly used in the world of marketing because they start connections, and once a relationship is established online, they take their communication to other areas like email, Skype, a phone call, or even an in-person media. Social media is great because it allows you to reach out to people or to connect with others based on your established connections without having to physically drive or fly to meet someone somewhere. They are great starter conversations according to Don. Platforms like Slack are very effective to establish relationships, and many companies use this platform internally to keep track of data, to see what's going on, to track conversations, and to share documents. Many of the tools that contain video are great for meetings and will stick around, and tools like Slack are definitely here to stay. It's similar to a virtual classroom. You download the app or you go online, and once you're on the site, you are plugged into your classroom. The other type of platforms used in the field of marketing and communications are information solutions. These are platforms that are commonly referred to as marketing deliverables. They are standardized in format, they have structure, they're free of grammatical errors, they're professionally designed, and they address a certain subject area and appeal to a certain type of target audience. In the next slide here, I will show you a few different examples of these information solutions and what they are mostly used for. In this slide, we will touch on 3 different examples of information solutions. These documents contain very little jargon, and they are meant to talk directly to an audience. In class, we discovered how there can be different brochures marketing the same product but be completely different from one another to appeal to different audiences. This tactic is commonly used in the marketing profession, and it's about being able to catch your target audience's attention in the span of 3 to 4 seconds. Some of these examples have to play with contrast, repetition, and scale to catch a viewer's attention very quickly. These features are all a part of information solutions. In the first example, we will look at a brochure. A brochure can be in the form of a trifold, and that's probably what most of you are used to. Brochures are utilized as a leave behind for sales reps on appointments to provide their clients with more information before a sale is made. Reports, this is another example, and this is used to show tangible results. These documents are highly professional, they look crisp and clean with no grammatical errors, and they are more visual with graphs, charts to explain some of the results that were analyzed. White papers, the last example, are used frequently to entice a customer. These again are professional, crisp and clean, and say everything there is about a plant or service. They provide you with information, and they can be used in corporate meetings with the company's information correctly branded and of course free of grammatical errors. Lastly, I want to touch on some of the key takeaways that I learned from this final project, infographic, and presentation. First off, on the infographic and presentation in the Prezi, there are many different key numbers and numerical values that illustrate different social media highlights and some of the numbers that are representative of what's going on those platforms, so definitely take a look at those. Throughout the Prezi presentation, there are different interactions for you to visually interact with and different medias for you to visually see what's going on. I did include a visual in the Prezi presentation on the Slack and this platform and some more information on it if you are interested, so feel free to take a look at that. Also, I just want to thank you all for being great classmates and for your feedback and advice on each of the projects throughout the course, and thank you for listening to my final presentation.